Warning, the following content may contain spoilers for film and television programs. It is also intended for mature audiences. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back. Episode 20 of the See It podcast. You know, it seems like it was only last week we did episode 19.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it was.
Yeah.
Damn.
Probably only, like 20 weeks ago since you started.
Holy shit, dude. That's like mind-blowing right there. I just realized that we are actually Springfield, Missouri's #1 film and television podcast that's recorded most of the time on a Saturday and airs at an average medium time of the next following
that's
week.
pretty good numbers, I'd say.
We're also, I believe, the #1 movie-related podcast for the age demographic 27 to 28 and a half males who sometimes go to Walmart but sometimes don't when they're hungry.
It's something we take great pride in, really.
It's a niche market that we have capitalized on.
Oh yeah, crushing it.
Yeah. All right. I'm one of your hosts this week, Andrew Ormsby, drinking nothing because I'm all out of every single thing of alcohol.
So sad.
And also joining me this week we have...
I am Brian Vaughn. I am drinking Mountain Dew because I drank enough alcohol yesterday.
Oh, wait, no, I just realized I have some beer. I'll be right back.
There we go.
Well, my name's Austin Fairbairn. I'm also not drinking unless Andrew Ormsby brings me a beer.
I feel like this is going to be a really terrible podcast.
Because no one's drinking.
Yeah.
Well, my sister and soon-to-be brother-in-law's engagement party, I suppose you could call it, is tonight. And on the invitation, it said, bring your favorite liquor you'd like to take shots with, because we're going to be toasting all night with shots of liquor.
Right.
And that's it. Don't bring anything else.
So you're kind of saving up.
I just assume I'm going to get really fucked up tonight, so I should probably take it easy during the day. But
Yeah,
we'll
you've got to
see.
be like an alcohol camel for the day.
That's right.
And then once that time comes, you'll be all set.
Yeah. I've already been informed I can't drink tequila tonight. My wife has informed me of that. It's probably a good call. Bad stuff usually happens. So
Yeah, for one, it makes me want water, and that's all. Something about the taste of it.
I don't know. It just makes me have basically zero judgment skills. I just
Like worse than other alcohols.
Oh yeah, I just make horrible life choices. With tequila, it's just bad. Worse than anything else. So instead, I'm getting whiskey.
That's much better idea. You don't want to end up with a clip-on rat tail and a mustache somehow.
Did you watch much of the World Cup? It's obviously over now.
I watched a little bit of it.
Have you seen the guy from Argentina had the completely shaved head, but then the rat
did
tail that
see
comes
that.
out of the back top of his head? That's a classy look.
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome. I think that'd be good for any profession.
Absolutely. You
Job
go in your nice
interviews.
Armani suit and your rat tail. I mean, you really can't beat it.
Yeah, and all the things you could put a little bow in it or something, like a couple of bows if you wanted to look fancy.
Mm-hmm. If it's a black tie event, just
I
put
mean,
something on back there.
we already have pocket squares and things like that. I mean, why not a bow in your rat tail that is the island in the ocean of your bald head? It's just bizarre. No, I actually saw a lot of really weird stuff going on in the World Cup games I did watch, as far as physical appearance decisions.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about, but I guess when you have that much money, you can do what the fuck you want.
That's true. I was reading about that, and soccer players are paid an absurd amount of money.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking up a bunch of the European players. They'll play in certain countries over other countries because the tax laws in some are so much different. Like in England, damn near half your paycheck goes to the government, Yeah. But in Spain, they only take 10% or something like that.
So it'd be more tempting to play in Spain.
For even less money because you'll end up making more.
Andrew has returned and probably has no idea what we're talking about.
Not a clue.
I mean, there'd be no way to know.
I assume...
And we're going to end up drinking anyway.
I assume it's World Cup.
Yes.
It was. We were talking about rat tails.
Actually. Rat tails.
Are you just saying that, or was I actually right? You were talking about World
No,
Cup.
we really
absolutely
were.
Holy shit.
We really were. And this is the only time that I will be talking about soccer. Probably
for the next 4 years.
3 years and 11 months.
Yeah.
Or something. And I won't talk about it much then, because I don't understand it. I watch it, and it's pretty fun.
I don't understand overtime. It doesn't make sense.
I don't understand what the rule is. And then the extra time, it just keeps going
extra...
that's another minute of extra time. Okay, did you do something wrong to incur the extra time?
Like when there's like fouls and stuff, if they have to like stop the game, it's the clock never stops. The clock always runs. So they kind of estimate how much time was taken by that guy holding his ankle pretending to be hurt, and they add that on the end. That way no one gets robbed of playing time.
So it's not actually like a penalty.
No.
Okay, in my mind, because I've seen so many, other sports, I thought, time's been added as a penalty because of something happened in the game. And then I'm like, wait, but that benefits or doesn't benefit both teams?
They usually refer to it as injury time. So if someone went down with an injury and they took like 2 minutes off the clock rolling around on the ground like an idiot, they'll add that on so like you basically can't waste time.
So do you understand the overtime system with the penalty kicks?
Yeah, basically in knockout play, you have...
Look how official he sounds.
He is our official soccer / football expert.
Football.
Basically, in knockout where you can't have a tie, you basically have two...
Are you looking for a trash can? Is that where you were?
No, like
you just kept looking around.
Like a table or like something. I don't want to get this messed up or anything.
This is the oldest thing in the world. If it gets dirty, it's fine.
All right. Let's not clarify what we're talking about either.
Yeah.
It's better that way. You can't see us. We're just pointing at random things in the room.
Holy shit, guys, look at that. That's crazy.
But continue with the soccer thing. We have to know the answer.
So it goes to extra time, right? If after the game's tied, you have two 15-minute overtimes. So 15 minutes, and then like another little halftime, and another 15 minutes. So 30 minutes extra.
Even if someone scores during the first 15 minutes. Why don't they just make it 30 minutes extra?
Well, that's what it is, except there's a halftime. Just because they've already played an hour and a half.
Okay.
I think it should just go until the first team scores.
That's what it used to be. That's called golden goal. That's how it was for probably 30 years, but they figured it wasn't necessarily fair because...
Well, they had a whole game to freaking score.
Well, I know. So basically, they have two extra 15 minutes or 30 minutes extra time. If someone is winning in that time, then it's done. If it's still tied, then it goes to penalty.
Right. Okay. That makes some sense. It's funny how announcers talk about it. I remember the first game that the United States won against Ghana, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so they scored a goal early, and the announcers were like... You've got to feel really good if you get a goal early. I mean, you're pretty much set. And at that point, I was very confused. Because any other sport, you don't see like a baseball game where it's like, oh, they scored a run in the first inning. This shit's over.
It's done.
Or a football game, like a field goal went through. So this is probably done.
Can you imagine if they did that for like basketball or something?
Yeah, made a shot. And everyone was that terrible at shooting that if you made a shot, it's like an 8-year-old game.
I can't remember who it was, but they came up with the greatest thing for basketball I've ever heard. Instead of like having games that go up to like 80 or 90 points, have games that go up to 20 or 30 points. And the way they said it would work is have goalies, like somebody that's suspended from the ceiling, swatting away your shots.
Or just put a trampoline down there.
Yeah.
What is that?
That slam ball?
Slam ball.
Slam ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember slam ball. And that's how we segue back into TV is because we watch slam ball.
I do have one more thing to add. I think it was Will Ferrell that tweeted it. It was a points equivalent to the Germany-Brazil game that was 7-1. Like how many points that would be in other sports.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually really, I'd
like,
love to know that.
Like total goals, I think in NBA it was like 492 points total for both teams combined is what
Football
the
was
equivalent of 7-1 was in Brazil versus Germany.
And American football was 170 points.
Yeah.
So
it's just like a ridiculous... And it was like 42 runs in baseball or something like that.
That's just nuts. Yeah. One time the Texas Rangers scored 30 runs at this game I was watching. It's the only time I've seen anything like that in baseball.
That's crazy.
It was against the Orioles. Back when the Orioles were more embarrassing.
I'm thinking about going to a Saints game in a couple weeks. I'm pretty excited.
You should do
They're going to be in St. Louis. It's the preseason opener.
I've never been to an NFL game.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
you have to go.
I would like to.
You should.
I've actually only been to like 1,800 baseball games. I don't even know how many.
I think I've been to 5 Cardinal games, and they weren't even all in St. Louis. I went to.
I think I've been
this
to
is
5
the
this
worst.
Year.
This is the worst television film podcast of episode we've ever done.
Sports edition.
This
is just a conversation. This isn't even. This couldn't possibly be interesting.
I think the reason we're doing this is we're trying to make up for the atrociousness that's going to be trailer talk later because those are just some bad films we're going to talk about.
Go off the rails during that. I think.
Yeah, but I think I've been to a bunch of baseball games. I hate baseball, but I've been to more baseball games than I have football games, which is weird because it should be the other way around. But yeah, you should look into going to the Saints-Rams games with me.
That'd be fun.
It's a lot of fun. And it's an indoor stadium, so it's going to be warm anyway because it's going to be in the middle of August. But
right, yeah, but it's indoors. That's much better.
Yeah,
because heat is terrible.
Indeed. So is freezing cold, which apparently I hear Arrowhead is just the coldest place in the world for any football game.
I've played in Arrowhead Stadium before.
No shit.
Yeah, soccer tournament.
Oh, so
you played soccer. This is all coming together now.
Yeah, he's an actual soccer
I was going
player.
to ask to see his papers afterwards. To see
his green card.
Yeah, just to make sure.
He's just putting on this extravagant American accent.
No, he may have worked on that over years and years.
You never know.
Yeah.
I'm always impressed how, British people can have, perfect American accents and you never know they're British or Australian or something like that. But if we tried to do that reverse, we just sound like fucking retards.
Well, I can't do it at all.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's not even...
I tried, and I thought I was, doing a really good job until somebody from Britain's like, no, it's better than some, but it's still not even close.
Well, the guy that plays Jason Stackhouse in True Blood, he's Australian.
Yeah.
And has this really, awesome Australian accent and speaks really well. And then you hear him in the show, and he's just a dumbass Southern boy.
They should have absolutely just told him to keep the accent. Yeah. I mean, there's no need for continuity in True Blood.
Yeah. Oh, man, I should use that as a segue for that speaking of news. You know what? I'm going to do it. Speaking of True Blood, Deborah Ann Wall, we're going to news.
Creativity.
Deborah Ann Wall, the hot redhead from True Blood.
Jessica,
yes.
Jessica Hamby.
She is...
What happened to Hoyt?
Hoyt, have you not... Are you
no,
not
he
caught up
left,
on
but where'd he go?
Alaska.
He went to Alaska.
He went with the engine to Alaska.
Yeah, we were chilling up in Anchorage. It was pretty cool.
Well, he was all
hanging with Hoyt.
Yeah, hanging with Hoyt.
That needs to be HBO's new off show. Hanging
my
with
God,
Hoyt.
That'd be terrible.
But she's going to be in Netflix's upcoming series Daredevil, and hopefully it's a lot better than Ben Affleck's movie. That's all I have to say.
I mean, she's becoming part of a cast that's already got some pretty good names on it.
Yeah, you got Vincent D'Onofrio, Rachel Dawson. It's going to be... And Netflix doesn't put out bad content when it comes to their original series.
No, they have a really good run so far going.
Although that Hemlock Grove show is coming back.
No, the second season's already up on Netflix.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it.
I'm not going to.
I haven't even watched the first season.
Don't do it.
I've been told not to.
I got about 2/3 of the way through the first season. I was like,
same with you. I couldn't do it.
I'm done.
It's one of those shows
That's rare. Usually it's hard to quit.
Yeah.
Well, I think Austin and I have the same idea when it came to Hemlock Grove. It was a Netflix original. We just came off the hype of the first season of House of Cards and Orange is the New Black as well. So we're like, okay, Netflix, they don't put out bad stuff.
Right.
And we started watching Hemlock Grove, and it wasn't, it's not good in our opinion.
Which that was bound to happen.
Yeah, and we're like, well, maybe it just it's not one of those, we just don't understand it, and by the end of the season, it'll all come together. And oh, wow, it's really good. And I just couldn't do it.
But still, I mean, 2/3 of your programming being Emmy worthy, that's pretty decent.
Pretty
that's
good.
Pretty good odds. I mean, you can still give them credit.
I mean, I would like to see probably, and I think that'll happen, more new shows being developed by them as they get the ball rolling on that, which I think they want to do.
Oh yeah,
get kind of a broader spectrum
of shows,
content. Amazon's going to be doing this too, I guess.
Yeah,
shortly. So, and apparently Yahoo TV, based on the last podcast I was a part of.
That I have little faith in, but Amazon I do have some faith in, just because of who they are, one, and two, the platform they already have with their Instant Prime is a pretty good platform for streaming. I use it pretty regularly. So,
and there's a new TV network out as well, El Rey TV.
El Rey?
Yeah, El Rey TV. Robert Rodriguez came out with his own television network.
Interesting.
They have a new show coming out called The Matador, starring the great Alfred Molina.
Interesting. Dr. Octopus.
So, you know what I found out about Alfred? His first movie was Last Crusade, but Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, I feel like we've had this conversation
before. I remember we talk about Alfred Molina all the time because he's just awesome. But he was the very beginning of the movie. He's the throw me the idol, I'll throw you the whip guy. Yeah, he didn't make it.
No, it didn't work out.
Didn't do so good. So, are we going to continue with news, or are we going to go ahead and...
No, we're going to continue. Okay, Robert Rodriguez works a lot with Tarantino. Speaking of Quentin Tarantino, Kurt Russell has signed on to be a cast member for Tarantino's film Hateful Eight's, the one that Tarantino said he was going to shelf and never do because the script was leaked.
Right. And then he thought it would be a book.
Yeah, and then and then he did a script reading after everybody had already read it. I never read it.
I didn't either. I don't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just in case he decided he was going to do it. And he didn't even wait that long. He waited 4 months.
Isn't
and
it,
they
right.
said, yeah, okay.
Is it a Western? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a Western. Yeah. Which is weird because Tarantino normally does not do the same genre of film 2 times in a row. He just came off Django Unchained, which was a Western, and now he's doing this one.
I'll be curious to see if it's in the same vein, though. I'm guessing not.
I can't imagine that it would be.
Yeah.
Who knows? I guess we could have read the script and found out. I don't know.
Kurt Russell, though. Yeah.
Hey, I'm all about that.
I am, too.
Fucking Stargate, man.
Just the other day, I was thinking about how I really wanted to watch Escape from L.A. again.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't watched that in a long time.
I remember when it was announced.
I'm going to do that later today. I made that decision.
I think New York's better. That was the first one.
Well, I've only seen both of them as a child, so I don't really. I couldn't tell you if either one of them are actually any good.
Oh, they're not good,
but
per
they're probably
se.
really fun.
Oh yeah, they're fun. Exactly.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh my god, that's the best movie of all time.
I have Lopan as
Sorry,
my
the good, bad, and the
background at
ugly.
work.
You're out.
Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China.
All right,
ladies, if you have green eyes, watch out.
Yeah, you have to be Asian as well.
Well,
Asians
we're in
with
Springfield,
green eyes.
Missouri, so no one is.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you go to Missouri State's campus, and then everyone.
Then
is.
everyone is.
Then everybody's
I used to write papers for those. Anyway,
Yes, Austin, you were going to say something.
Oh yeah, I remember when this story kind of came out that it was leaked and he wasn't going to make it because he said, just fuck everyone. Like you're going to fuck me over my script. Like no one gets to make it or do it.
Yeah.
Like screw you guys. And I had a lot of respect for him for doing that. I kind of wish he would have held off a little bit longer before he decided to make this. Because now it kind of seems like he's going back on his threat,
He could have waited a year.
Could you do that, though? Like, if it was something that you created and spent that much time on and worked? I think that's why he was so angry in the first place.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
probably after his initial backlash, he was like, okay, people have read this, but I'm Quentin Tarantino. Once I make this into a movie, it'll
I feel
be
like
a different
Tarantino's
thing.
got piles of material
That's
sitting on a desk.
exactly
I'm sure he
that's
does.
exactly what I was about to say. He could have done a couple of other things first, and then just come back to this a year down the line.
He's a weird guy, though.
He's a very strange.
I don't think we can even debate that.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of ideas that should have been shelved, Marvel has announced earlier this week that their upcoming comic series has some major character changes. The first announcement is that Thor will now be played by a woman.
Naturally.
And another one is Captain America will be a black man. And Iron Man's suit will be changed from the iconic gold and red color to an all-silver suit. The thing is, how I look at this is, if you have anything to say against this, you automatically come off as a sexist, a racist, or an anti-metalist. So,
And I am like a very open anti-metalist.
yeah. But it's well played, Marvel.
No,
well played.
That's genius. I mean, they basically were like, we're going to fuck with this whole lore, and you can't do anything about it. Yeah.
The reason I brought this up, it's all comic news, but I want to know, do you think this will affect Marvel films? I don't
hope think so at all.
Because Marvel wasn't doing that well until the movies took off. And I think they're not getting a lot of... What I'm trying to say is the majority of the people that come to see these movies are not comic book people, per se.
No.
They're just action movie
I bet
kind of people.
5% of the audiences
Are actual comic creators.
Yeah,
I know I'm not.
So if they were to change up the cast like they do in the comic books, I think the public would flip shit.
They can't do that. What are they going to do? Like tell Chris Hemsworth to get his balls cut off?
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the deal, though. A lot of those superhero actors are saying, this next one's gonna be my last movie. I don't want this role anymore.
Yeah, but they
kind of
said that before.
Yeah,
that's true. But if they do step down, it would open the door that they could recast Thor as a woman if Hemsworth stepped down.
Right?
They'd have that option.
And Chris Evans says he wants to start directing now instead of acting.
So Captain America might be out.
Yeah.
So there's a potential for it.
And Robert Downey Jr.
He's
said he
always
thinks
about
he's
done.
yeah.
This is true. Yeah.
Said he doesn't want to play Iron Man anymore. So
yeah,
which I don't get because that brought him back from the dead pretty much.
Yeah, it really did. However, I would like to see him kind of sprawl out a little bit. I think he has the ability to.
He has the ability to. I think ever since Iron Man came out, he's played Tony Stark in every
everything.
movie besides Tropic Thunder,
Which was pretty funny.
it was actually a really funny movie. Okay, speaking of Marvel, it's another casting announcement for a Marvel thing. Oh no, this is DC, isn't it? Well, that segue sucked balls. All right. Prison Break star Wentworth Miller is now cast in the new upcoming CW series The Flash. He's going to be Dr. Cold. Is that what it was?
Captain
Cold.
something
like that.
Captain something.
It's one of Flash's arch enemies.
How likely are you to watch that series?
I'll wait until I hear if it's good or not. It's sort of like what I did with Arrow.
Right.
People say it's actually really good, and this is actually an offshoot of Arrow. Like,
yes, I said we talked about this when we talked about it. Like they've really like kind of melded the two ideas. Like they're the same world, everything. Like characters cross over a lot, which is I think is a really cool idea.
Yeah.
No, it is. I have had an extreme. Well, this is like a lot of kind of the third tier networks that I have problems with their casting and stuff. It all comes across really like hey, we had $800 to shoot this kind of, even though some of it's
a young network.
It is, and it'll probably improve. But
I mean, we're talking about us having a niche sort of demographic. The CW absolutely has that, and that's ages like 14 to 20-year-old girls. Like that's their demographic, and that's
they're trying to break out of it.
They're trying to break out of it with these like the Arrow,
which I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I hope they continue to,
because before that it was all Vampire Diaries and Dawson's Creek and shit like that. So I mean, this is definitely I think a step up. A step in the right
end of the
direction,
show, should we all sing the theme to Dawson's Creek together?
Oh Jesus Christ! You know what? We may actually break out of our own demographic that way, and we get some new listeners.
We'll lie about how we look too. Get some ladies to start listening.
I'll take down all of our Twitter pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
we need to
knows.
replace those.
Okay. Speaking of casting changes, Ben Whishaw has replaced Colin Firth as the voice of Paddington Bear. You guys talked about this while I was gone.
We talked about this at length.
Yeah.
Like for 20 minutes. I don't even...
Yeah, so Ben Whishaw, did you ever see, what was the last Bond film? What was that?
Skyfall, which was
one of the
good.
best.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite Bond movies.
Ben Whishaw was the guy who played Q, the young guy. Okay, in case listeners don't know.
No, I think that works. Apparently they didn't get our resumes in time for Paddington
Bear.
No, apparently.
I sent it in.
Yeah,
whatever.
I emailed it to paddingtonbear@hotmail.com like I was supposed to.
Paddington Bear.
Nothing.
God, I thought it was AOL account.
You got a Craigslist casting call.
Yeah, also, like I tried to get a hold of Colin Firth about it to offer my condolences for me taking his role, which I presumed I would at Colin Firth
at AOL.
At AOL.com.
You know, I still have an AOL account.
I looked it up on Netscape.
Netscape, jeez. Your casting audition tape was hosted by E-Bombs World.
Yeah.
And a link to your MySpace account.
I wonder if I still have... I mean,
they deleted them all.
Did they?
Yeah, because I actually...
somebody just sat there unused.
Yeah, because I was like... Somebody talked about MySpace. I'm like, you know what? I remember everything, like my email and my password and all that. I'm going to go check it. And
I actually would love to have gone in there just to see what... Like, to remember...
Yeah, it's like a trip down memory lane.
I never had a MySpace, but...
No way? Oh, yeah, you're young, so you were around when Facebook started, so...
Yeah, I didn't even get Facebook till I was... like a sophomore in college, so.
Oh, really?
I kind of.
Facebook didn't exist till I was like a sophomore in college. I think
I got on that bandwagon a little late. That was like 2011.
I knew about it whenever I was in college, so yeah. I was still like, Facebook's just a fad. MySpace is what's going to continue to go because you can post music to your profile page.
Yeah. Do you remember when? Facebook started, you had to actually be enrolled in college or have graduated from college.
And I tell you,
I learned that from the Social Network.
It was I'll tell you, it was a bitch and a half to get a Facebook account.
It actually was. It was terrible. I had to.
You had to prove you were actually in college, and you had to show your credentials.
My email listed on the site because you cannot remove it. One of the emails that it lists is my Missouri State email address.
Mine's probably my College of the Ozarks one.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's still linked there, and it's like I don't go there anymore. I'm 100 years old.
You can change it to where like the one you log in with is different. But
I did do that.
Okay, yeah.
I got a little life hack for you guys.
What's up?
Amazon Prime that gives you instant and free 2-day shipping, all that good jazz you get from Amazon.
Yeah.
There's a student version of it that's literally half the yearly price of the actual version.
That sounds good.
And the only thing you do have to get to this for the student version is just have a legitimate working student email address.
Wow.
Which almost everyone still does. Like, I don't know, do you, does your Missouri State one still work?
Probably not.
Okay, well,
I think they actually revamped their email system since I've been there.
Okay.
Because the last year, 2007, probably.
Nice. Well, even if you still don't go there, but you still have an email address from a university or college that still works,
right?
You can use that, and it's like only like $45 for an entire year's worth of service.
That's awesome. I got a discount on a Sam's Club membership because of.
I get a business discount at Sam's.
I've done that before too with the stand grafts, but I used this to get a Sam's Club discount now.
Your zip card from Missouri State.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this thing is archaic.
Yeah,
it's falling.
That's
apart.
for my dual enrollment. I was 15 during that at the time of that picture.
Nice. Yeah, my picture looks
great.
roughly about like that too. I was 18, so I look like a little kid too.
Just a baby. That was like last year or the year
something
before.
like that.
What we're trying to say here is congratulations, Ben Wishaw, on getting placed as Paddington Bear.
Yeah. Is this just a thing when I'm here that this gets derailed to hell?
I'm not going to lie, it seems to be a trend.
Okay.
But you know what? They also turn out to be some of the funniest ones, so it kind of evens out. So.
Yeah, you just don't know. The lows are really low and the highs are really high.
Yeah.
It's like a drug.
The last bit of news we have is that Bryan Cranston has decided to join HBO's adaptation of All the Way. All the Way was a Broadway play depicting Lyndon B. Johnson enacting the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Actually, Bryan Cranston was in the Broadway play. He was Lyndon B. Johnson.
He won a Tony for it.
Yeah, he just destroyed it. He did an incredible job. So I never saw the Broadway play, but I'm excited I'll watch it on HBO.
I'll watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 hours, apparently. It's going to be like the full length of the play, actually.
Well, so he's now has a Tony and an Emmy. He just needs a Golden Globe and an Oscar. So
Yeah,
he has a Golden Globe.
He has a Golden Globe?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he has like 1,000 of them, probably.
All right, cool. All he needs is an Oscar now, and
He's got the EGOT.
got the EGOT.
Oh, he can have the
One
EGOT.
letter away.
Yeah.
One letter away. Man, he needs to do that.
Yeah.
He can
Spielberg's
do it, too. Producing this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was the case. Yeah. No, I think it's going to be really, really good. Also, it'll teach a whole new generation that LBJ does not necessarily stand for LeBron James.
Yeah, Jesus.
I'm sure that's all.
You type in hashtag LBJ,
Yeah.
it's all links to LeBron James. So.
Yeah, that's all I've heard about anywhere for like however
Going
long.
back to
a week
Cleveland.
and a half. Yeah, just LeBron James.
Yeah. Actually, I do remember one bit of news. I was talking to Austin about this before you got here. I didn't write this down on the paper. So apparently Twitter is the new place to make deals in Hollywood, because Neil Patrick Harris tweeted, "Man, I would love to be on American Horror Story. It's one of my favorite shows." And the creator,
Did that happen?
And then the creator, Ryan Murphy of American Horror Story, tweeted back, "You got to roll. Come to the set."
That is awesome.
Yeah, so apparently, I wonder, does Twitter going to get a commission from this as like an agency?
Don't they have enough?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Actually,
They paid enough.
Twitter, from what I found out, has not had a profitable month since it was created.
Really?
Yeah, but if you sold the rights to Twitter right now,
It's in the billions.
Oh, easily, yeah.
yeah.
Was it net worth of like
God.
10 or $4 billion, something
By
like
the
that?
way, wouldn't you sell the rights to Twitter if you owned it right now?
Yeah,
How is that sustainable?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's
the Twitter I really feel is going to be one of those bad things. It's got maybe max 10 years of relatability, and outside of that, I think it's going to be something else will take over.
yeah.
That's why we only have a Twitter account, C_it_podcast. You can follow us whenever you like. Thank you. All right, so now we're going to move on to the atrocious next segment called Trailer Talk. We have 1, 2,
call it
3,
trailer
4,
trash this
5 trailers. The last one down there, Life After Beth, I didn't realize you guys had already talked about it. Actually, when you were here, so I have another trailer we'll talk about. But first, we're going to start off with Sci-Fi's new series, 12 Monkeys.
Does that name sound familiar to anybody?
Yeah. Brad Pitt's not in it. And it's directed by Jeffrey Reiner. He did Friday Night Lights. He was one of the... he's directed a shit ton of like here and there episodes for TV shows. But
Friday Night Lights, the TV show?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I actually like that TV show.
Yeah.
So.
I have been wanting to watch it. I have the first season.
It's apparently it's really... I
is
only
really
caught
good.
an episode here and there, but the ones I did watch, I never watched them in
Yeah.
sequence.
I've watched
Which so
every
it didn't
single
make much
episode.
sense.
All I would say is if you're short on time, just completely cut out the last season. It's really not...
Because
It's not bad, but it's not really worth the time.
Todd
But
from
watch the first ones.
Breaking Bad's in that, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Meth Damon.
Meth Damon.
He looks like kind of a You know, a little bit of. I can't wait till Andrew tries to pronounce this name. That's what I've just been eyeballing this whole time.
Oh, it's Željko Ivanuk. I actually looked it up. You know who he is?
Pretty good.
He's he was in True Blood. He's been in a crap ton of stuff. He's the old gray-haired or balding guy. He was in
You just described everyone.
You watched the trailer, right?
Yeah.
The old skinny guy in the suit, the villain, pretty much.
Oh, the guy that had the little kind of cut scene at the end with
exactly.
Yeah, I have seen that guy before.
He's from Slovenia, I think.
Who did he play in True Blood? Was he on the?
Okay, he was like in like 8 episodes. He was
the ABL guy.
Yeah, he was in charge in like season 1. You know, whenever he killed the vampire, he had to go before the judge and everything.
Okay,
he was the judge dude.
Yeah.
That guy. Yeah,
that makes sense.
I can pronounce his name, but I can't say anything he was in.
No, nothing else was coherent. I think he worked way too hard on just that.
I should have, broadened everything.
Didn't see the forest for the trees there, did you?
No, but apparently it's roughly based on the movie. It's taking a different, like the backstory is the same, but they're taking a different approach to telling it. So I don't know. I'll wait until I hear more things about it. And guess what? I'm going to go off on another tangent. Did you guys watch The Strain?
I didn't see it.
No, I didn't either.
It was really good.
Was it?
Really?
It was really good.
Now I'm interested.
The next episode comes out tomorrow night.
Speaking of things that come out tomorrow, we're not even in that segment. I know, Austin, you were watching it. Did you continue watching The Leftovers? Did you watch?
I did.
We talked about this. He's seen all of them. I got lost.
I have them all. Haven't started. I kind of want to get deeper into the season before I start watching to avoid problems where I'm like, I want to watch that or where I hate it.
Okay, here's how it was for me. The first 2 episodes were like, okay, I'm interested, but I could see myself just teetering off of this.
Yeah.
And then the 3rd episode came along, and it was the guy who played Doctor Who, the first Doctor. Do you know his name?
No idea.
He was in Gone in 60 Seconds and stuff like that. It was an episode all about
Nicolas
him.
Cage.
Yes, Nicolas Cage. It was
Nicolas Coppola Cage.
He's the gentleman who played who plays the preacher in the show. It was an episode all about him, and it was a phenomenal episode. And I'm like, okay, now I'm in the show. If they keep up with
So you're
episodes
like in it to win it now.
If they keep up with the same level of material that they put out with that last episode, I'll watch them all. It was really good.
What's the order for this season? Like, how many episodes are we looking at? Like
I believe
12,
10.
13?
Yeah,
10.
Somewhere in the
HBO
low double digits.
Yeah,
10 to 13 probably.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in soon. That's gonna happen.
Yeah. So 12 Monkeys. Yeah.
12 Monkeys. I usually have extremely little faith in sci-fi original programming.
Yeah.
The trailer for this looks halfway decent, but there's no way I'm going to watch it until I know if it's good or not because it's sci-fi, so it's really not my time.
Everybody's got to step their shit up, though. Some of these networks are starting to...
For me, even if people tell me it's good, I probably won't catch up until maybe it'll be at least until the first season's fully done.
Right. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, after Sharknado 2, they set a high bar, right?
Yeah. God, I'm so excited for sure. I went to Subway.
You should have like a party for that.
Yeah. I went to
watch party.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I went to Subway and they had Sharknado posters, like little table placements all over for Sharknado 2. I thought about it.
You should have.
Yeah.
So I suggest, I posit that there be a Sharknado 2 watch party. But the thing is...
Seconded.
It's Sharknado 2, so we have to drink like Milwaukee's Best Light.
Oh, God.
Natty.
Yeah.
So can I be drunk before I come just so I don't have to taste it?
Yeah.
Yes, that's absolutely acceptable. And I think everybody should only wear tattered jean shorts. That's my next thing. Jorts.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Next trailer up. Annabelle, directed by John R. Leonetti. This man is the man responsible for Mortal Kombat Annihilation and The Butterfly Effect 2, starring no one famous. This film is a prequel / side story to The Conjuring, which apparently I don't watch horror films because I'm a big scaredy cat. Apparently, The Conjuring
I watch a ton of them.
You do?
I do.
So, okay, you can confirm this or not. Apparently, The Conjuring is like one of the best horror films that's come out in a long time.
It actually bothered me for like a couple of days. Like,
really?
It stuck with me. And it was really, I think what it was is also, it was super well acted because it was a really solid cast. You had Patrick Wilson, who's in all the only good horror movies that are made.
Did you watch
now.
Sinister? With
I
Ethan
did.
Hawke?
I really liked that too.
Apparently, it was really good too. So.
I wasn't real great about the ending, but it did its job, which is that it was super suspenseful and yeah.
Okay, Annabelle. Not that it was, even if it was a horror film, I still wouldn't see it because the trailer just looked terrible.
Even the trailer makes fun of itself, really.
In the first 10 seconds.
It's a beautiful doll.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't even know it was a horror movie at first. I thought it was a comedy.
Yeah, they break out that doll and everyone just starts cracking up laughing. You're like, okay.
It looks like something you'd see at a scary movie or something like that. Like, okay, this is obviously an evil doll that's going to cause...
I was waiting for one of the Wayans brothers to jump out and a priest out.
And then you hear like the bass drop, the synthetic bass drop thing. And it's like, oh god,
dumb.
Yeah.
Next trailer up, one of the better trailers we saw. The Prince, directed by Brian A. Miller. He gave us House of the Rising Sun. Sorry about that. Officer Down and The Outsider, starring Bruce Willis, John Cusack, and Jason Patrick. Guy needs to learn how to spell Patrick. He really the story is an assassin's daughter is kidnapped by a man whose family was murdered by him years ago. So it's sort of a revenge tale, but taken from the view of the villain. Is he the villain? Is he not?
That was unclear to me.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe an interesting take on it because like you said, when you're watching this, you're like, oh, it's Taken 3. Like, that's what it seems like. But in Taken 3, it's so clear that Liam Neeson's the good guy and everyone else is just horrible.
Yeah.
Right.
Then that adds a little bit of shade of gray, like, well, Jason Patrick, is the good guy, but he apparently killed all of Bruce Willis's family at one point in time. So is he really?
So how great a guy is he?
Exactly.
This has Michael Bay written all over it because fucking 50 Cent is in it.
Curtis Jackson.
You were
Which
talking
is
about
not the same as Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I need to clarify something. You guys were talking about the Purge Anarchy and how it was a Michael Bay film. He only produced it. It's still directed by the same guy who gave us the first Purge movie,
but
and
it's
written
still
by
be
him.
Terrible, right? I would assume.
Did you see the first Purge movie?
I did not. I saw part of it.
I liked it.
I thought it was decent.
No, it's not like a great movie, but it was enjoyable, and it's a really cool story.
See, I thought the concept when I first heard it, I did like an automatic eye roll.
Really?
I was like, that's not plausible at all.
It's not plausible, but it's unique.
But you could sell that though if you unraveled it right.
There's so much like unwarranted and kind of bullshit fear in this country about anarchy and the government, resorting to like last ditch efforts that there's enough people that would buy into this that it makes a feasible sense to a good chunk of the society.
Well, I mean, only if
not to the rationale, but
no, but then who are we talking about here?
Yeah, yeah.
It's the fine people of the United States of America. I love this country and all, but not all the smartest.
No.
Yeah. Next film up, probably the best trailer out of all the ones we saw, The Captive. Well, actually, go back real quick. 12 Monkeys, won't see it. You guys?
No, won't see it.
Probably not.
Annabelle definitely won't see it.
Never.
Not
The Prince, I won't see it.
I'd see it
if it's on like Netflix or something.
Yeah, Netflix.
I wouldn't pay for it.
No.
The Captive, however,
I will totally see that.
You will see. Okay,
I will end up seeing
The Captive is directed by Adam Egoyan. I can't even say his name, but I can say Jelko Ivanek. So Egoyan. Okay, Adam Egoyan.
Right.
He directed The Sweet Hereafter. He was nominated for director and screenwriter for that film. He also gave us Chloe and The Devil's Knot. This film stars Ryan Reynolds, Scott Speedman, Rosario Dawson,
and Kevin Durant. Russell Westbrook. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. The story is a little girl is kidnapped. After 8 years, news arises that she may still be alive.
Seems kind of creepy.
It does creepy. Kevin Durant, actually, I think he's going to be an upcoming actor that we need to keep our eye on. For an older actor, he's like, late 30s?
Yeah. The one cast member you don't have listed on here, Muriel Enos. I really like her, too.
Oh, yeah.
She's the mom in this movie. She's from The Killing, and she was in that one really shitty movie with the SWAT team. I can't remember.
Oh,
I don't know if it was
Sabotage. Actually,
was it good?
I went on a movie TV show binge. I watched Sabotage, The Zero Theorem, which was terrible, And
that last week.
yeah, so I watched Sabotage, Zero Theorem, and what was the Need for Speed? I watched that too. All bad movies.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
So
why
how was that 6 hours?
It was pretty bad, but I made up for it because I watched some great TV shows. I watched Penny Dreadful. That was that Showtime show that has Josh Hartnett in it and Eva Green, who's super fine. Then I got caught up on Leftovers, and I watched all the episodes of Silicon Valley. Got caught up on that.
I've seen the first 3 now, I believe.
Silicon Valley.
I need to get the rest of it.
It's really funny. I think you'd like it a lot. But as far as The Captive, it looks sort of like Prisoners meets...
Yeah, I got that vibe
that
too,
Prisoners
actually.
vibe, too.
Yeah.
Except
I love that movie. I thought it was
Prisoners
great.
was the best movie I saw last year. I've
Yeah,
said that 1,000 times on this podcast.
I can't think of anything that I liked more either
Yeah.
last year.
There's a few I liked more, but it was definitely easily in my top 10, quite possibly my top 5 of last year.
Yeah. Not nominated for any Oscar besides like a technical
A
one.
sound editing award, I think.
Yeah, which is bullshit.
Most coveted award in the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sound editing.
Well, no, it definitely has that Prisoners feel, but I'll say the trailer, like if I compare the trailers for Prisoners versus this one, like Prisoners is a lot better trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds wasn't in it.
It was funny, we're talking about they won a sound editing award. That was one of my biggest like throw-offs of this trailer was the sound was way off in this. Like at the end,
That could have just been the internet.
well, no, it wasn't that like the quality was bad. It was the choice, like the music choice that went along with the trailer.
Oh,
Especially there
okay.
at the end, there's that weird kind of like synth quiet thing over Ryan Reynolds talking, and then it just ended in silence, and it just felt really weird to
See,
me.
I liked that. I thought
Did you
that
like
was
that?
kind of the point. I don't know though. That's just me.
Yeah.
But I thought it was kind of the point was to be a little offsetting.
This is
Also, I'm a super big Ryan Reynolds apologist. I'm just gonna get that out there in the open right now.
Did you ever see Buried?
I did. He was great.
It was really good. I liked
Also, he
Buried.
was really good in Adventureland, being that big scumbag.
Yeah, I liked Adventureland.
Yeah, that movie was good actually.
I actually watched that for the first time, I'd say a couple months ago.
That's one of my favorite
it's
movies.
really
he's
good.
in.
I watched it on Valentine's Day. That's how I remember that. The last trailer we're going to talk about, interesting trailer. I might see this movie for the simple fact it's written and directed by, I can't even...
Belle and Sebastian. The
Yeah,
two brothers.
Stuart Murdoch. Yeah,
Yeah.
the singer for Belle and Sebastian. He directed and wrote this film. It's called God Help the Girl. It's a musical, but whenever your musical is Belle and Sebastian,
Yeah, it might be pretty good.
yeah.
I don't like musicals as a rule. Just they aggravate me. But maybe this will be better.
There's very few.
What about like animated films that have music, like singing in them, like the Lego Movie? Did you ever see the Lego Movie?
I intend to, but I have not.
Did you ever see Across the Universe?
I did, and it was okay.
I have a feeling it's
Not the best.
no. Well, no. I have a feeling it's going to be not in the same vein, but like sort of at the same time.
Right. I think sometimes in musicals, this actual, or at least modern ones, the story gets set to the side.
No, and I think,
that's a big problem.
think that's going to happen with this one, but I think it's kind of to be expected. I feel like, especially when a musical artist is in charge, both writing and directing, it's going to be all about the art, both visually and musically.
Right.
And actual plot's going to take a backseat. Doesn't mean it's not going to be good, but it's going to take a backseat to everything else.
Well, the plot for this is a Scottish girl meets a guy and they decide to start a pop group.
Exactly.
So the plot isn't that thick to begin with, but I can understand what you're saying. If you even look, like you said, Across the Universe, it wasn't that great of a plot.
Yeah.
No.
But
It
it's
was
still
real simple, and it was to highlight the visual and musical aspects of it. I mean, that was the entire point of it.
So that'll do it for trailer talk, and hopefully some better trailers will come out in the following weeks. So we are going to move on to the final segment, which actually I think, even if we do run past time, I want you guys to compete for IMDb Idiots.
Deal. Real fast,
sounds
do we
fun.
want to do the See It opinion? We kind of skipped right over that at the beginning.
Oh, holy shit. Yes. Brian, why didn't you say anything?
We're super. Well, I was looking at the sheet and we're really disorganized.
Why are you mean disorganized? It was written the very first thing. I thought you guys did it while I was getting the beer and stuff.
No, we talked about
World Cup hairdos.
Yeah. It was not worth doing, but we did it.
Okay, so okay, Brian.
Sorry, when you come back to edit this, you're going to see a good 5-minute conversation about nothing.
Yeah, it's actually you should like set it to music.
It'll be really epic.
People will just be like, "What is this?"
I'll set it to some music. Okay, I'll do that.
Like elegant piano music.
Yeah, I'll do Final Countdown.
Oh, that'd be great.
If I had the rights to it, I would. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought you did it. See it, skip it opinion on Orange is the New Black. You've watched all of season 1 and part of season 2.
I have.
So, Austin, you can jump in because you fully finished season 2 as well.
Seasons, yes.
But Brian, take it away, please.
Okay, so Orange is the New Black obviously is Netflix original programming. For those of you who don't know, which you probably do, the show is basically about a women's prison and the inhabitants of it. Basically, the main character, Piper, gets sentenced to a year in prison because of crimes she committed a decade ago. Basically being a drug mule. For her then girlfriend, but she has since become engaged to a dude and is pretty happy.
I feel like we need to say who these people are.
Yeah.
Her then girlfriend is the redhead from
Hot
that
Donna.
70s show, Hot
Laura
Donna.
Prepon.
Yeah.
Yes. And then her now fiance is Jason Biggs.
Also known as Pie Fucker.
Yes.
Pie fucker
That-
number
that's-
1.
That's just a great side cast of her past relationships. Like
Right, yeah.
you got Donna and Jason Biggs from American Pie.
Right.
Great.
So, obviously,
Next is going to be Charlie Cox from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
find his way in there. I feel like it's a well-acted show.
I'd agree.
And it's getting a little more steady on its feet. And I guess what I would say if I had a complaint, because I really did enjoy the first season, sometimes it gets a little heavy-handed. Somebody could maybe fix the problems with the score and how it's just really overbearing sometimes.
Yeah.
There are scenes with a prison guard and an inmate that fall in love, I guess. They have like 8 scenes together in the whole season. And we're supposed to, really
it's really forced on you.
It is. And then the music's like some hopeful, it's just a little over the top. Things like that feel a little contrived. Some of the plot developments do too, including the one that ends season 1, which I won't talk about.
Yeah.
Little over the top for where things were like the previous episode.
Yeah,
funny
it
you
got
say-
real dark at the end.
Yeah.
It's really funny you say that because I was kind of forcing myself to watch the show until the last episode. I'm like, all right, now I'm into this. Not realizing that was the last episode. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
oh shit.
Well, I will say what happens in the last scenes of the first episode definitely sets up what starts the second season.
That is true. It definitely does. And maybe that was their end game.
Yeah, is
there.
that they knew they had to set this up, and this is the only way they could make it happen.
Right.
Because there is some suspense of what's actually happening in the beginning of the second season. You don't know if it's because of what happened in the first season.
No,
They-
the
they
first
set it up like
episode,
it
you
is.
literally have no idea what's going on.
Yeah,
for
you're like lost.
about
You're like,
30
oh,
minutes.
Shit, everything's getting switched up on them. So I think that was well done. But I agree. At the end of the first season, like it didn't quite have the same feel. as the rest of the
I feel like
episodes.
there could have been a little more build up between the characters that it involved. But I mean, overall, it's the first season I found to be really strong. Like I really enjoyed it. And
great characterization.
yeah, it's fantastic.
I really like how they do kind of the flashbacks of why all these women are in prison.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily just the crime they committed, but like their life choices that led up to that crime.
You're not just seeing the one scene where
Yeah.
they commit the crime that sends them to prison. You're seeing like a fleshed out backstory, and some get more than others. But I thought that was a nice touch, especially for a show with a pretty broad cast. And I wouldn't even say there's a main character now.
Yeah,
and
not so
it's
much.
spread itself thinner, and I like that.
The first season was definitely Piper. It was the main character.
Who might be my least favorite character.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I
Like,
agree.
in all honesty.
I am nodding my head in agreement.
kind of a
I
bitch.
agree.
Yeah, didn't I say that a long time ago? I'm like,
I think
it's
so.
a really good show, but for some reason the main character, she just isn't my favorite. By the way, real quick, I meant Charlie Day. Charlie Cox is the guy who's going to be Daredevil. And so
I actually knew what you meant, but
Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
high voice Charlie Day.
No, I do agree. She's one of my least favorite characters, but I think she's there. Obviously, she's the main character, but especially in the second season, she I think kind of gives a center for what life outside of the walls is supposed to be like.
And I don't even have a problem with her not being likable either. Right?
No, I think it works well on the show. But I definitely agree. The second season, there's a lot more character depth that makes her not stand out as much as the sole main character.
Yeah, but yeah, in general, I thought the season was very good. I would definitely say to see it if you have not.
Absolutely,
Excellent.
I would agree. See it.
All right. So now that we've done that, we can move on to Balls Deep on Edward Norton.
I think it's funny that we're doing this the week that Zach's not here because he would actually physically, literally go balls deep on Edward Norton if he could.
Did you guys do this to spite him? Is that what this is?
The reason I chose Edward Norton is because I know he is both of your favorite actor. Pretty
He's
much.
up there.
Yeah, definitely.
So the first film we're going to do on number 10 is The Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk. Not my favorite movie he's been in for sure. It wasn't bad though at all. I mean, I think it was one of the better Hulk movies.
Did you prefer it to the Eric Bana Hulk?
Absolutely. Mother of God, yes.
Not even a question.
We should do a whole podcast about that one.
Yeah. It's tough because this is set up so much different than the Hulk that's in the Avengers. Because I really like that Hulk.
I think Ruffalo is the best so far as Banner, anyway.
As Banner, I can see that.
Yeah, probably.
But the Hulk just doesn't seem like an Edward Norton type of movie. Like
no,
if I
did a
all
good
these
job.
other ones, and then you told me, "Hey, Edward Norton's gonna be the Hulk," I'd be like, "Why?"
I feel like he was trying to make a leap into that circle and
Yeah.
then quickly withdrew from it.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, Edward Norton is like one of the worst actors to work with. Like he's just incredibly difficult.
Well, yeah, you've read the reports basically of what happened on American History X, right? Like where he basically took the whole thing over.
Yeah.
Which it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of strange thing.
Hulk had Liv Tyler and Tim Roth in it, which I love me some Tim Roth, I'm not going to lie.
Does, yeah.
Louis Leterrier, is that how you say his name? He did
Leterrier. I never figured out if it was like
he did
French.
Now You See Me, which actually was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
He did Transporter
With Mark
2.
Ruffalo.
Yeah, exactly.
It all comes back around.
That's right.
Next film up, we have Red Dragon. Not gonna lie, I chose this one because not a lot of people liked it, but I did. The prequel to Silence of the Lambs. It's directed by Brett Ratner. It has Ray Fiennes.
Yeah, no, this wasn't bad. I don't think it held up Silence of the Lambs.
No.
There's very few movies that do.
Yeah, exactly. That's setting an incredibly high bar.
I preferred it to Hannibal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
I just
my
think
God, Hannibal sucked
Without
dick.
a doubt, without a doubt.
Although I hear the show's really good.
It's hard to watch. The reason it's hard to watch is because
It's really hard to understand him.
yeah, Mads Mikkelsen's accent is so thick, and
He's kind of
he
a badass,
mumbles.
though, Mads
He's a
Mikkelsen.
badass, but he mumbles a lot, and it's really hard if you don't have subtitles. You're like, wait, what did he say? What did he say? And I don't like the guy who plays Will Graham at all.
But you did like Edward Norton playing him.
Oh yeah,
I brought it back.
you did.
Pretty good.
Edward Norton's performance is actually not underwhelming. What am I trying to say? It's unappreciated.
Yeah.
By how good I think he was in this. I think he captured it perfectly. Ray Fiennes obviously did an amazing job in this film.
Wasn't he ripped in that?
Yeah.
Ray Fiennes.
And he had that. And he had that
movie in a
full
while.
body tattoo of the dragon.
That's right. That's how the movie opens, I think.
Yeah.
Ray Fiennes is a badass too.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
We should go balls deep on Ray Fiennes next week.
All right.
He'll appreciate it.
Yeah. Next film up. Did you choose this one? Okay, take it away. The Illusionist.
The Illusionist. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Another magician movie that came out the same year as The Prestige. That came out almost the exact same time.
Prestige is better, but go ahead.
No, I know. I asked that question, and the reason I asked that question is because for the longest time, and even still now, there's a spot in my heart for The Illusionist. And I think it's because of Edward Norton. I think his performance was better than any performance in The Prestige. I think The Prestige is a better movie, but I think Edward Norton was better.
Yeah,
than
I would
Christian
be
Bale.
inclined to agree.
So I think overall The Prestige is better, but just his performance in The Illusionist was one of my favorite that year, and definitely one of my favorites that he's been in a long time.
Paul Giamatti was in that.
Yeah,
was.
and so was Rufus Swell, who for the longest time I thought was Jude Law.
Really?
You don't see that?
I guess I can kind of see it.
Like, I was like, oh, Jude Law's in it. And then I looked up like, Oh wait, that's not Jude Law.
You're not Jude Law.
You're an imposter.
Walk out of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Neil Burger directed that. He gave us Limitless and Divergent, which is one of your favorite movies. So,
which I like both those movies.
Yeah.
So
next film up after The Illusionist. I love this movie, but go ahead, take it away. Moonrise Kingdom.
This actually wasn't one of my top 3, but when I looked at the list that we put together, I did only talk to Andrew at this point. 2 of our 3 were exactly the same, so I knew we needed more.
Well, I knew I was going to run into that too. So I wanted 3 movies that I liked for different reasons. Basically.
So this is a 4th one I added because I really like this movie. It's Moonrise Kingdom. It's a Wes Anderson movie.
His movies are the funniest.
Yeah, they're great.
It's super dry.
Easily my favorite Wes Anderson movie. Not close for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Not my favorite.
Weirdly.
Life Aquatic still my number
That's
one.
probably
Life
my
Aquatic
second
is really
favorite.
good.
Have you seen the Grand Budapest Hotel yet?
I have not yet. No.
That actually might be your favorite.
really
Knowing you,
want to
it
see
will.
I might have to check that
knowing
out.
Ray
you,
Fiennes.
yeah. Knowing you,
Is he in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's the main character.
One of the main characters, yeah.
Yeah, knowing you, it will be your favorite.
Have you seen the Edward Norton SNL spoof of Wes Anderson trailers?
No,
It's like a horror movie, a Wes Anderson horror movie trailer,
really.
and it's like people politely murdering each other. It's really funny, actually.
What what I want to know is how Wes Anderson got Bruce Willis to be in Moonrise Kingdom.
I don't know.
But I mean, it's a Wes Anderson style rom-com, and it's just better than anything in that genre you could ever imagine.
Yeah, it's really good.
Was this the first Wes Anderson movie that had Edward Norton in it?
I believe so.
That's the first one I remember it, man.
Okay.
Although he's made some pretty cool cameo appearances of late. He was also in why can't I think of it? That Ricky Gervais movie. Where he
Invention of Lying.
Yeah, he made a cameo as a police officer in that. That was actually really funny.
Yeah,
and he had a cameo in Modern Family.
I really like.
Oh, where he was in
player.
for a Spandau Ballet.
Yeah.
No, I really liked the premise for The Invention of Lying. I didn't like the movie as much.
No, it wasn't very good, but
the
it was
premise
really
great,
ambitious.
and I like Edward Norton's character in it.
All right, next film up we have Brian. This is one of yours. Actually, the next 2 are yours. Leaves of Grass.
Okay, Leaves of Grass I picked because I thought the movie was really solid, but Edward Norton takes on the task of something that it sounds almost cartoonish, playing twin brothers, which are completely different people. One grows and sells weed like off a farm, and he's being threatened to get shut down basically by the authorities.
Nice.
And the other one has an upstanding business career.
I remember seeing the trailer for this.
Yeah,
I never saw the movie.
You should absolutely see it. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I'm interested because I talked about this a while. I can't remember the name of it now. It's Nicolas Cage, but he plays 2 twin brothers.
Sold.
Yeah.
What is it? I talked about
Double Nick Cage. You kidding me?
Oh, it's called Adaptation.
Oh, I never saw Adaptation.
No, and I really like that movie. And I'm thinking if Nicolas Cage can pull that off, then of course Edward Norton can.
He
so
does.
Now I'm interested. I've never seen
with
Leaves
even
of
a
Grass.
slightly lesser actor. I would think that would just fall flat. But he was very good at both roles.
I'm definitely intrigued.
Maybe better at like the white trash drug dealer.
Is that the
role.
one where he had like the really awful curly hair? Nick Cage.
Adaptation? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It was Charlie Kaufman wrote that, I think.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, good call.
I believe.
You are
Okay.
correct.
But Leaves of Grass, pretty good.
Oh yeah, and by the way, his name is Charlie Kaufman in the movie.
Really?
Yeah. No, it's a weird fucking meta movie. It's messed up.
Kind of like Synecdoche, New York. Did you ever see that?
No.
That was really good. I've seen that like 4 times.
All right, so then we got Down in the Valley, which I think was you, Brian.
That was me.
It was a Western, wasn't it? Or
It was like a semi-Western, and how it ended in like these weird housing developments in California, where Edward Norton is honestly kind of mentally deficient, and no one quite knows what's wrong with him. And he wears the cowboy hat, and he falls in love with a younger girl,
Evan Rachel Wood.
Evan Rachel Wood.
When we say younger,
They're
when you say younger than Edward Norton.
okay,
yeah.
like I don't know, like mentally deficient, wearing a cowboy hat, and he fell in love with a younger girl. I'm thinking like younger, like illegally younger.
Yeah,
I think
it's not
she
of
was-
mice and men.
Yeah, it's not that bad. But he has like weirdly his heart in the right place sometimes, but it all turns very dark.
Isn't David Morse in that movie as
I
well?
think he is, yeah.
And one of the Culkin brothers, the
Rory, I think.
Rory, the itty bitty one, not the good one.
Time out real
And-
fast.
yeah.
Can you like Stroganoff or something? Or am I having
You
a stroke?
it's Hamburger Helper. You
Okay.
smell-
I was having a stroke for a second. Like, what the fuck is that?
No, if you were gonna have a stroke at it when it was all hot in the area. That would have been the
Yeah, we're cooking some Hamburger Helper downstairs.
Fair enough. Okay, continue.
So there's even a moment that kind of like a Taxi Driver recall moment where Edward Norton's like in the mirror, kind of trying out lines to himself. But it's kind of an unusually dark movie, and he shows himself completely and has multiple times completely adept at playing characters who are totally just not quite sturdy mentally.
Mentally, yeah.
So yeah, but which is funny because he's so good at playing just a straight role too.
Yeah. He's a very accomplished actor.
Yeah, it's a pretty broad spectrum of what he can do, which makes it kind of sucks because we don't get to see enough of him. I think anymore.
I had made this comment earlier. For as good as I think a top 10 list you can make of his movies, there's really not, outside of that, like there was a huge drop off. I feel like
There is.
like it's a huge drop off between his top films and then. Because he hasn't really made that many. When you look at how old
He's
he
made like
is.
25-ish, 30 films.
Yeah, 25 to 30 films for his age. Like that's a pretty low number. And you think he has like some of my favorite top films.
Yeah.
But then outside of that range, it drops off
I
dramatically.
want to see him get in something where I feel like the script,
34, he's done 34, and 3 of those are upcoming
is that
non-release.
34 acting credits in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I feel like he needs to find someone who has a script that can give him something to do, which is why the last two I picked, which is why I picked those. Leaves of Grass and Down in the Valley. They gave him, neither was a high profile movie whatsoever, and the movies themselves were good but not great. But they gave him stuff to do. They gave him a lot of room to interpret a character, and I feel like he's been in all these procedural movies, almost like cop movies,
Yeah.
and.
What was it, Pride and Glory?
That's what I was trying to think of. And
Yeah.
the other one with Robert De Niro that was horrible.
Stone.
That movie
Yeah.
was horrible.
It was really bad.
It's fucking Edward Norton and cornrows. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
But-
that was never going to work.
That's actually a really good segue because that film was directed by John Caron, who also directed the next film on the list, A Painted
I
Veil.
had no idea that was the same director.
Yeah, John Caron. Painted Veil, one of my favorite Edward Norton movies. I think you and I
watched it here.
You actually drunkenly watched that movie with
I ate
me.
egg rolls from your refrigerator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a long time ago. That was like 2008-ish.
Probably, yeah.
But this film, when does it take place, you think? Like 1880s, 1890s?
I think it's a little beyond that.
Really?
Early,
Okay.
Like early 20th century.
Okay.
I looked this up. I don't remember.
The basic premise for the film is Edward Norton falls madly in love with Naomi Watts.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, exactly. And he marries her, and he's like, I'm a doctor. I work overseas in China. So she's like, okay, I'll move to China with you. You're a nice guy. She married him just to get away from her family, pretty much. She didn't really love him. But while she's in China, Edward Norton works with Liev Schreiber. And then she starts having an affair with Liev Schreiber.
Right.
And Edward Norton finds out, and he's like, all right, fuck this shit. I'm going to take you with me to the most dangerous area of China where there's this terrible outbreak of cholera. And he's like taking care of the people, and then she sees all the things he's doing, and then she kind of falls in love with him. Really, I think
It's a good movie.
It's a really good movie.
It is not the kind of thing everyone would like. Like you can't take like anybody that's like, yeah, woo, Michael Bay. They would not like this movie.
No, it's
It's
very
slow paced, but
very, very slow paced.
very methodical. Yeah.
Yeah, it's linear if you can deal with that.
no, I can't.
Actually, no, it's not linear.
Not
The story,
completely.
yeah, it jumps
Yeah.
around here.
no,
and there.
I could do a linear storyline so long as it doesn't span 80 years. You know,
I have a problem with that too.
I don't get it, people. It doesn't make sense.
like no, I mean, like if you're saying like okay, maybe a decade, I can handle.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I'm like, good lord, just pick a time to tell the story. Don't tell me his entire life.
So, you know why I thought Lincoln was so good is because it did not do that. It was a focused.
We didn't see Abe Lincoln cutting down logs to make a log
And you
cabin.
know what else?
then
We
at
didn't have to
14
see.
and-
We didn't have to see a 14-year-old kid try to play a character that would later be played by fucking Daniel Day-Lewis
Yeah.
either. Like
Yeah.
that would ruin the. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, here's some kid, and then they're, oh my god, that actually there is the actual Abraham Lincoln. I'm not sure how they were able to videotape that. Like, it's just bizarre.
You know, I always thought, we should go balls deep on Daniel Day-Lewis, but the guy's done like 4 films.
Ever. Yeah, basically.
And they've all won
they're
an
all
Oscar.
great.
He won an Oscar for every one of them. Which one of you guys wants to take Primal Fear?
Doesn't matter to me.
Never seen it.
Okay, Brian,
Okay, well,
go ahead. You've never seen Primal Fear?
Was Edward Norton's first full-length movie.
And he got an Oscar nom for it.
And he got an Oscar nomination that was absolutely deserved. I think he was 19 at the time.
Yeah.
He basically played an altar boy.
And he's like 82 now. I don't get it.
Yeah,
because the movie was filmed like, what, 10 years ago? And he aged 30 years.
1990, so 18 years ago.
Are you shit,
Isn't that insane?
That is insane.
Yeah, it feels like that was not long ago at all. So in Primal Fear, he plays an altar boy who has a very troubled past. Obviously he's an altar boy, so you can fill in the blanks to what happened to him. And all of a sudden, he's found basically running from a murder scene with blood all over him.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, so Richard Gere, who I normally just have a distaste for, winds up representing him as his attorney because it's a high-profile case. That's what he wants.
And then he marries a prostitute?
And then he marries a prostitute.
Okay, cool.
No. He defends him, and there are a lot of twists and turns. Edward Norton plays basically a southern drawl, kind of slow-witted hick, and there are a lot of facets to his performance because he also is later revealed to possibly have schizophrenia.
Oh, nice.
Which complicates the case.
Yeah, because can you trust a schizophrenic?
Right. How do you know what he did and if he meant to do it? And so it's fascinating, and it's a little long-winded of a movie at times, but the acting's great. And it's actually one of the very best Richard Gere performances because he plays his usual kind of arrogant character, but he plays it wearily, like, if that makes sense. Like, he's kind of tired of all of having to have so much bluster and kind of worn down by the end. And
it helps having a good counterpart like Edward Norton in this type of role. So it's not overbearing Richard Gere the entire movie, You got a little counterbalance to that.
No, but it's definitely worth seeing. Of course, third act revelation is pretty awesome, and the acting on like all fronts is good. And if I say that about Richard Gere, it's true because I just want to punch the guy in his vegan jaw. I don't know why. I assume he's vegan. I don't even know.
No, I got one.
And what'd you point at?
I was pointing at you if you want another one yet.
I still have one.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'll get this one then too. We drank an entire case. All right.
Woo.
Okay, so I'm with you. Richard Gere, whenever he can actually act.
He's effective in some roles.
Mothman Prophecy, I didn't hate that movie.
I liked that movie.
Okay.
Legitimately liked it.
So I think that movie and Primal Fear are the only 2 Richard Gere movies I think I like.
Chicago. I liked Chicago.
I actually never saw Chicago because I'm with you. I'm not a musical fan.
That's a musical I liked. I was forced to watch it. It wasn't my decision, but I liked it.
Of those 3
I don't get it because it won Best
Prophecy's
Picture, and I normally see every single film that won Best Picture.
Weren't you boycotting at the time it winning Best Picture also? It beat something.
Probably.
You're like, so a musical beat something else out. Yeah,
I think it beat out Gangs of New York.
Then absolutely.
I think that happened.
You talk about American History X. I'm going to look up all the films that Chicago beat.
Yeah, no, quick. Look that up. So American History X, obviously, Edward Norton plays a reformed white supremacist. We get a lot of flashback scenes of his hateful days, and he's trying to help his brother, played by Edward Furlong, who's
kind of following in his footsteps, his old footsteps.
Right, and he wants to prevent that because he's been to prison after crimes he committed, which you fucking curb stomped a guy.
That is the most disturbing scene.
Yeah, it's a very upsetting movie
in film history.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's an extremely upsetting movie, and it also, I believe, is to date Edward Norton's finest acting performance.
I was going back and forth between putting this one and the next one as number 1. Yeah. I really was.
That's tough. In terms of which was a better movie, I think you did this correctly.
Yeah,
but I think
a single performance,
it's debatable. I think it was my favorite of his. Although there really aren't bad ones, so it's kind of. But American History X, obviously, great movie.
Okay, here are all the films that Chicago beat: Gangs of New York,
Daniel Day-Lewis,
The Hours.
Daniel Day-Lewis did not win an Oscar for that either, which is bullshit.
Because he was beaten by
Doesn't matter what you say next.
It doesn't matter. It was Adrian Brody and the pianist.
Who was really good.
He was really good, but he was
yeah.
nowhere near Daniel Day-Lewis quality. Also, Chicago beat out my favorite of the trilogy, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers.
Also my favorite.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You and I are the only people in the world that think that. I just want you to know that.
I know. It's just not out there.
Yeah.
So what is the default? I haven't even sensed it. I've sensed Return of the King.
Return of the King.
Yeah, because Fellowship kind of sucks.
I love... That's actually my second favorite. Actually, Return of the King is my third favorite.
You know, I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to differentiate, but... No, I mean, I love them all, so I can't. I have nothing bad to say about any of them.
Fellowship's first 20 minutes is the reason I did not get into Tolkien for another 8 years that I should have been, because the first 20 or 30 minutes are like, oh, you've come, you have a. They're all just basically giving each other hand jobs and eating like corn. It's terrible.
I like how you just open that. Oh, you've come.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's just welcoming people over and over.
I can say that, but I will say every time I want to sit down and watch Lord of the Rings, I always just put in the first movie. So I've seen it so many times that it's just kind of ingrained in me a little bit.
I've actually seen it more than the others as well because of my botched trilogy.
I have.
I'm going to watch all three of them. You watch the first one, like, God, that was 3 hours of my life.
I need to do something. I'm an adult now.
I actually just ordered the Blu-ray extended edition trilogy. So.
Oh yeah, I've seen the extended, the full.
I've just never seen them on Blu-ray.
I haven't either. I'd like to.
Well, you know what we're going to be doing.
Definitely get all the extended cut with the director's stuff on the end.
With 14 trillion hours worth of extra commentary.
It's worth it.
Yeah,
it's some insightful stuff for sure.
Do you think Peter Jackson's going to do anything else good
after the final Battle of Five Armies?
Once he's done,
once he's done with the Hobbit, if I were him, I'd go done and walk the fuck out.
You think he'll pull? Are you afraid he'll pull a George Lucas or something? Actually, let's talk about the final Edward Norton. Okay. So the final Edward Norton movie. Everybody guessed what we were going to put as number one.
Absolutely.
Fight Club.
This is, and I've said it many times. This is my favorite film.
It's in my top 5 favorite films of all time.
It's somewhere in my top 10. Yeah. I don't know what order those would go in.
Yeah.
I think I panic when I try to put them in order.
I believe I've seen this movie more than any other movie I've ever seen, besides possibly the first Harry Potter movie or the first Lord of the Rings movie, because I've seen them so many times.
Is there a movie from when you were really young that you watched a ton that's just really stupid, but you've seen it too many times?
Oh, absolutely.
I love those, when you have to admit it.
You know what? Okay, I'm going to admit it real quick, going off topic. The movie I have seen more than any other movie is Boondock Saints.
I believe that.
Yeah.
The first Mighty Ducks movie. I've seen more than any other movie.
The movie...
That's the worst out of all of them, too.
Yeah.
It was the first one. It's the one I saw when I was young.
The worst Indiana Jones. The worst of the original trilogy.
Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom. I've probably seen that movie 50 times.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say, I saw Crystal Skull 1,000 times.
I've seen that 3/4 of a time. Yeah. And that was all I could bear. Also, other movies included on probably the 5 movies I've seen the most in my life. There's the reputable ones, like... Return of the Jedi, probably, and Pulp Fiction. Mm-hmm. And then you get into The Room and Turbulence 3. So, but those were drinking related.
Yeah. Well, okay, back to
Fight Club.
Again, one of my favorite movies
This
of all time.
is one of those movies, it's been out for, 20 years now?
Almost, yeah.
And it's still one of those movies I don't want to talk about what the plot is, because it's one of those movies.
You don't want to ruin
it. On the off chance there's somebody that's lived in a hole that's never seen Fight Club.
Someone in our niche that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, oh my God. It's so freaking good.
It's great. I mean, even when you know the plot twist, which if you can even call it that.
Doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter. No. The movie is still great.
Yeah.
I actually didn't care about the plot twist.
Really?
I mean, I liked it, but my point is that the movie was great to me before we even got to that
I'm not
point.
saying that. I'm just saying,
it's very important.
The twist is what took it from a 10 to an 11 for me.
Well, for me, I read the book before I saw the movie. I'm one of 8 people in the world that did that.
Yeah.
And
I read it after. I can't lie.
I read it after.
Yeah. It was kind of weird because I read a Chuck Palahniuk short story that I really liked, and then bought that book at Barnes and Noble before it was even a movie, and just on a whim, and I was like, "This is crazy."
Yeah,
and then of course I wanted to see the movie.
It is not his best book, by the way. It's easily the best film adaptation of any of his
I
books.
think it's my second favorite of his books, though.
Have you ever read Lullaby?
Yeah, Lullaby I think is my third favorite.
That's my favorite.
I think actually Choke is my favorite, and the film adaptation's horrible.
It's really bad. Choke's a horrible.
And it has Sam Rockwell even in it. It's terrible. I like Sam Rockwell.
we should go balls deep on Sam Rockwell as
I
well.
would enjoy
Yeah,
that.
that'd be fun.
But for Fight Club, actually, I think his performance, Edward Norton, I mean, in Fight Club, is better than his American History X performance, in my opinion.
I don't, but I'm not going to begrudge that either. I mean, he's very good. And also, he plays the thankless role. Like, Brad Pitt gets the flashy role.
The reason
that's one of my favorite Brad Pitt roles.
Oh, yeah.
Here's why I say this to justify what I said. American History X, he goes from, this evil Aryan, white supremacist to a kind of normal guy. But for some reason, I just appreciate people that have a mental breakdown and they can fully present that on screen and it's believable. So I think that's why I chose Fight Club over American History X.
Yeah, okay. I see your reasoning there. That's actually part of why... part of my reasoning on Down in the Valley, too, was the complete disintegration of his mind.
In the scene where Edward Norton kicks the shit out of himself in his boss's office is one of his best performances of all time.
That was pretty great.
What are you doing? No!
No, I honestly think, Edward Norton, Brad Pitt, and then my favorite director of all time, David Fincher.
Yeah. Everybody loves David Fincher. How could you not love David Fincher?
Yeah.
Another, this isn't on our list, I just wanted to touch on it real quick. Edward Norton in a movie that otherwise probably wouldn't have been great, but I think it was a good, crime movie. Wow, now I just lost it. I lost the score. He was really good in that. Basically, in order to gain trust to commit a crime, he plays a mentally disabled person yet again. And as a janitor and to facilitate the crime, and then he and De Niro are kind of jockeying for position in terms of acquiring wealth. It's really weird, but anyway, he's really good in that, and the movie I feel like without him would have been far lesser. So yeah, the score.
All right, that'll wrap it up for Balls Deep on Edward Norton. Now for the final segment, the first to 3 IMDb idiots. Are you gentlemen ready?
No, but let's do it.
All right.
Ready. Does this work like the game we played last week?
Essentially.
Okay. I'm just going to continue to give you information about a movie until somebody guesses it. So, all right. The first film we have up on IMDb's top 250, it is number 239. Directed by Danny Boyle.
Trainspotting.
No.
In the Name of the Father.
No. God. It won 8 Oscars.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Yes.
Nice.
All right.
Woo!
So the next
echo.
Yeah, how did I do that? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Spiked the sound.
The next film up, it is actually out of IMDb's top 250, number 250. This film came out.
Kicked out at any time.
It could get kicked out at any time. It came out in 2010, directed by Darren Aronofsky.
Black Swan?
Black Swan.
Dang it. I almost said The Wrestler, which would have been 2 years prior, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, just keep going through this list. You guys are guessing them too quick. I can't get another one
So
prompted
good.
up.
It's 1-1. Crunch time.
I've already got one right, so I'm doing better than most weeks.
This is.
Yeah, I like to get that one out of the way. That's good.
I do not believe we've done this one. This film came out in 1986. It is number 64 on IMDb's top 250. Directed by James Cameron. It won 2 Oscars.
Titanic.
Won 2 Oscars.
Sorry.
Not 14.
Alien? Did James Cameron direct Alien?
He did not direct Alien.
Aliens.
2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you said Alien 2, which is wrong. You said Aliens, which is right.
Ooh,
Okay.
2-1 lead.
All right.
Oh, you're under the thumb of the game now.
Okay, Okay, if you guys get this one, I will be impressed.
Shit.
All right.
This isn't a good sign.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, this film is number 36 on IMDb's top 250. Directed by Hayao Miyazaki.
There we go.
Yep.
7 Samurai?
No.
It's Kurosawa.
Yeah, that's curious.
Yeah.
Good job.
You did know
It
that.
sounded
right.
Japanese, so I figured you know.
Memoirs of a Geisha.
All right. Let's see some actors it has.
So if you can't say their names, then I'm not going to know it.
Yeah, this doesn't.
Michael Chiklis.
Well. Okay.
The Shield.
Lauren Hawley.
What year? Do we have a year on this?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back to that.
You son of a
came
bitch.
out in 2003 in
Crouching
the
Tiger,
U.S.
Hidden Dragon?
It is an animated film.
Oh, shit.
What is Hayao Miyazaki the most famous for Japanese anime of all time?
I know nothing about anime.
I know the movie you just made.
This is a movie that is number
36.
Why don't
Very famous and actually a very good movie.
I have no idea.
Here is the plot summary.
Did you get like a wide release?
In the U.S., it was one of his first big movies. It won an Oscar. Best Animated Film.
It was up for different movies up for an Oscar by him for this movie.
In the middle of her family's move to the suburbs, a sullen 10-year-old girl wanders into a world ruled by gods, witches, and monsters, where humans are changed into animals and a bathhouse for these creatures. All right, do you guys give up?
Yes, we do.
It's called Spirited Away.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that existing.
Fantastic movie.
That's all I can say.
No.
All right, let me find... Okay, so it's still 2-1. Okay, this film is number 81 on IMDb's Top 250. It came out in 1963. It won 7 Oscars.
Godfather.
No.
Godfather 2.
No. Directed by David Lean. It is known as one of the best films of all time.
1963.
If I give you the main actor, you guys
Yeah,
are going to
that
get it
could-
immediately. So I'm going to try and find...
Some more obscure fact to give.
Alec Guinness is in it. Do you guys know who that is?
Yeah.
It's known as one of the best films of all time.
Alec Guinness was Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original Star Wars. Anthony Quinn is in it. So is Omar Sharif.
Omar Sharif.
Nice.
Yeah.
How would you describe this movie genre-wise?
Oh, God. It's an adventure, biography, drama, history, war film.
Very well done.
I'm going to tell you guys something, and it's going to give away everything. Are you ready?
Yes.
It takes place in the Middle East.
Lawrence of Arabia?
Yes.
Nice.
Woo!
I'm really
I didn't want. I
excited
didn't
about
want to say
Thank
Peter.
you, thank you.
I didn't want to say Peter O'Toole.
Joel, yeah.
Yeah,
I would-
that- yeah.
All right, so that's 3-1. Mm-hmm. All right,
winner.
Congratulations, Brian Vaughn.
undefeated.
You
I'm
have won IMDb Idiots.
I'm like 4-1 right now. Or 1-4, I suppose I should say.
All right, thank you everybody for tuning in to episode 20 of the See It podcast. You have all made it very memorable for us.
Thank you for helping expand our demographic.
Exactly. Yes. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, as I've said earlier in the podcast, you can find us at C_it_podcast. You can also find us on Facebook at /The See It Podcast. You can find us on YouTube at /See It Podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the iTunes link below. Thank you to everybody listening. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.
See you guys later.